Yep.
Welcome to Bridging Generations in Sales and Outreach. Sales used to be about face to face meetings and handshakes, uh, but now it's about where you're posting content and what your algorithm is. And that's what this show is about. It's bringing those new school tools and the old school know, like, and trust together. And I'm very excited today to have Jeff Watts on the show. I've known Jeff for 5 years, 5.5 years. And I know it says this is episode 18, but if you put it with the first year, this is episode 52. So 1 year ago, Jeff was the first guest on my show. And a lot's changed since then. So I'm glad to have Jeff on the show today to talk about the changes that have happened in the last year. So Jeff, give yourself a little introduction, and then my first question for you would be, what's the biggest change in the last year for you?
Well, thank you, and thanks for inviting me back. And I'm honored that I was the first guest. Thank you so much, Butch, and thanks for the and congrats on the success of the video podcast that you're doing. So, the biggest change in a year, there is not a question about it. It's AI. I mean, I don't think anybody else could have a different answer than that. It went from about a year ago to emerging technology to non-negotiable in 12 months. I've never seen a transition that fast. So that's definitely it.
Jeff, one thing I know for me, AI was this thing you heard about, but I always thought, that's going to be for like the military and, those kind of people. But in about a 3-month period, if you weren't using AI, you weren't in the game.
You're 100%. If you don't, okay, I like to think about it like this. If you don't engage in AI right now, you are going to be so left in the dust. I mean, because I like to think about it as email. Email came about 25, 30 years ago. And I remember people saying, I'm not doing email. I'm not doing that. I don't like that. I don't whatever. And I'm thinking, what are you going to do? Send a letter out to somebody and then can you write me a letter back 7 days later? And then like 15 days later, I'll communicate with you. It's great. You have to adapt to the changes in business, and AI is everywhere. So no question about it.
So Jeff, one thing I know is a lot of people, well, most of the people we deal with, I mean, every person I deal with uses AI somehow.
Yeah.
But one thing you said that really stood out to me was AI is a tool, not a strategy.
Yeah, it's a tool, and it's commoditized. Everybody has it. Everyone has AI. Everyone can pull the information. The old world of business, in my experience, is the knowledge that I would come into, or people would come into a room and say, we had this, we've analyzed this, we've done this, and this is what we can tell you. Today's world, whoever you go to, they've already done the research. They already have the data. It's commoditized. So you have to be able to, what I say is, you've got to be able to present, you've got to be able to persuade, and you've got to explain the differentiations of why this data makes sense, because anybody can pull the data. So you have to research it, and you have to be able to present it, and you have to be able to communicate it.
So, yeah, I agree with that 100%, Jeff. But give me an example of how you would use AI before you were making a call to a prospect.
Well, I have a million different databases, like most companies. I'm in advertising. I sell television advertising to on a national level to advertising agencies. So I have databases that have all sorts of different agencies, who the contacts are, whatever, and I have multiple. Well, that would take going into each one of those agencies, kind of create an Excel spreadsheet, try to figure out what accounts they have, what emerging trends are happening in a particular category, what's going to be big in advertising this year. I take all of that, I load it in, and it comes back and goes, yeah, here's your top 10 prospects you need to call today. Here's what you need to be doing. Here are the people that are going to be morphing into more advertising within the next 12 months. Here's somebody that just got a brand new agency, so they're going to be rethinking everything. So you may want to contact them. It just takes all of it, hours and hours of research that I used to have to put in to try to identify my clients or prospects. I can use an AI, and so I use it literally every day, many times every single day.
There was a study, I believe it was McKinsey, one of the big consulting firms, and
Yeah.
this data is probably 2 years old, and I believe it might even be more than this now. But their study showed that buyers have done 70% of their research before they want to talk to a salesperson.
Yeah, and I do too. I mean, you probably do as well. If I'm going to buy something, I'm putting that information in. I'm knowing and I'm asking the questions because, the world. It's interesting. Like my daughters, they're just so used to it. Like they're used to going to a website and purchasing something. They already know there's going to be some hidden box down there that says you buy this one time, you're on a subscription, and we're going to keep billing you. They're totally okay with that because that's just all they know. For me, I'm kind of old school. I'm like, hey, be upfront. Tell me what I'm buying, and don't do all these tricks in. And so if I'm going to go buy something, I use AI all the time. Like, I'm going to go buy this. Is there anything I don't know? Is there any surprise that's coming that I should know about? Is this better than the competition? What's the likelihood that this is going to break or damage? Are there returns and refunds easy? Whatever. You can just get all this information before you even buy. So it's a valuable resource in my whole life, actually, not just in work.
Jeff, I heard this recently, and it might have been you that said it. But information has become a commodity.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're making a sales call, and you don't know that stuff,
Yeah.
you're gonna come across as uninformed, and there'd be no reason for me to talk to you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's such a commodity now. I mean, you can get all the information you need about, and the thing I like about AI is the conversational aspect of it, where I just keep asking questions and going through, and I'm like, is this a good agency for this particular advertiser? How many times has this agency had a client that they kept longer than 3 years? Is there a propensity for this advertising agency to only buy a certain type of media? I sell television advertising. And I just keep drilling down questions, and it just keeps feeding me back. So when I go in, I've got an educated kind of strategy on how I'm going to present to them and what's going to make sense.
So what I hear you saying, Jeff, is everybody has access to the same AI world.
Yeah.
And it's not about getting the information. It's about knowing what to do with it.
It is 100%. Okay. I have completely transformed my life into being like a true home improvement guy in my house because of AI. It's good. I am not going to go and read a 400-page manual on the washing machine of why this particular thing is not working with font that's like this big and you can't even read it. I go to AI, I take a photo of the actual controls, and I'm like, why is this cycle not starting after this particular cycle? Oh, here it is. You need to press this button before you do that. That's why it is, what have you. So I kind of joke around that my wife sees me as like a complete home improvement genius now, but It's just there. It's so easy. It's available to anybody. It's just how you use it, how you utilize the technology, and if you embrace it. If you don't embrace AI, and I know there are fears and there are dangers and there are things that are out there that people are concerned about, but it's like email, like I talked about. If you want to go through life and say, I'm not going to do email, I think you might have, I think your business probably would have folded. You have to. Everybody else is using it, so you've got to catch up and you got to do it.
Yeah, I bought something recently, and when I opened the the how to do it instructions, it was just one of
Yeah.
those cue card things, and you had to put it on your phone.
Yeah.
It didn't even give you the instructions.
Yeah, you don't get the 400-page manual anymore that you can't even read.
No. So I believe I've been in sales for a long time. I know you've been in sales for a long time. And I believe it goes back to know, like, and trust at the end of the day.
Yeah.
People want to buy from people they trust. They want to buy from people who they believe has a solution to a problem that they have. And
Yes.
so, and I know you're a great salesman, uh, but
Well, thank
how
you.
has AI helped you build trust?
It's really, I think it's kind of three words: reasoning, judgment, and translation. As we talked, everybody's got the data, but what I like to do is get the data, put it all together, and then apply reasoning, judgment, and translation. What it means. I mean, everybody that you got to, whatever business you're going to go call on, they only care about their, progressing their business. So if you go in with like stacks of data, they're going to go, okay, what does this mean? You have to be able have that trust that they feel like this person knows the data, this person has done the research, and they also can show me very clearly, here's the reason we're seeing this trend, and here's what we're going to be able to do to translate this into dollars for you. Presentation. I think we talked about this when we were first discussing. Warren Buffett, of course, Berkshire Hathaway, like the greatest investor of all time, always says the number one business asset of all, nothing comes close, nothing anywhere near, is public speaking and communicating. So now we have all the tools to give you every single thing you need, but it's not going to work if you just pop over a 300-page document of data. You've got to be able to communicate it. You got to be able to show how it's going to help. And I guess a lot of people might miss that. I can't imagine, but I guess a lot of people might just miss that and just think they're just going to pull the data. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I was just sitting here thinking. I don't know. I don't know exactly, but 3 years ago, 2 years ago, it all you would hear is data, 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 and I believe we do have to have the data, and I believe when we're talking to a buyer, they can get the same data we have,
Yeah.
but I believe what they're looking for is authenticity in the person who is translating the data for them. You've got to
Yes.
come across authentic, or you're going to lose. You're going to lose the deal.
And in my world, which is advertising and targeted advertising on television, I mean, television used to be, the term broadcast means broad. I mean, you would just take one ad, you would put it on one television network, ABC, that Disney that I used to work with, and you would just put it out and it would go to every single television in the country. And now it's about targeting. I want to find women that are 35 to 54 that have a 3-year lease on a Volvo convertible, and they're coming up for the end of their lease. Then you find them. And then you do all the data, all the targeting, all of the different tools that come back. But then you have to come back with attribution, and you have to show them. And that's the real powerful thing. Is anybody, we know salespeople can go in and make broad statements of how they're going to be able to do this and make everything great. But in my business, it's that attribution. It's being able to go back afterwards and go, these were the people we identified. These were the people you were looking for. And these were the people that then, with all of this data and all of this attribution we have, we can show how many people went to that particular website in that particular zip code and actually visited a Volvo dealership or something like that. There's so much data and information that you can use for attribution. So in my business, that's very, very important.
You said something important, Jeff. It really hit me. You've got to have the data that's applicable to the buyer, but chances are the buyer doesn't know what that data means. And where you come in is really being the translator of the data.
Well, that's true. I mean, that's a big deal in what I sell. There are many different ways to target advertising. So I sell television. Okay, that we consider the big television on the wall, and so there is a different metric to measure how you're going to target that ad to the main television in the house. It's the IP address, which is assigned by your cable company, your satellite company. 90%, I mean, cable television viewership has declined. No one is denying that. Streaming television has gotten larger. But the important thing is that 90% of the US population, 117 homes out of 125 million homes, still get their broadband internet delivery through the cable and satellite structure. So yes, people have data, people think they can do targeting, but it's then taking it one step further and saying, if you're trying to reach the large television in the home, the metric to actually identify the people that you're trying to find is an IP address. It's not a device ID like your phone or a tablet or things like that. We can send ads to groups like that, but there's an education process that goes along with it too. And many times they don't know. It's so, in television, it's so fragmented. It used to be 3 networks, right? You bought an ad, you ran across the country. And now there are so many choices, so many ways to run, that it has become confusing even for the buyers. Many times the buyers need education from the vendor community like mine to go out and say, look, this is the metric that you're missing. This is the one that's going to get it to where you want it to go. So yeah, a lot of times they have the data, but a lot of times they need a little bit of education too.
So Jeff, you were, I think this was like even COVID and coming out of COVID, you became kind of a TikTok star, Instagram star with the videos you did, and they were great videos. But I know you made a decision to do less posting and doing more valuable content when you do.
Oh yeah, well, thank you. I was not like a social media influencer by any stretch of any, but I did utilize it.
Hey, you influenced me.
Good. I'm glad. My strategy behind that, Butch, was I sold television for years and years and years. So on LinkedIn, people would see me as the television guy, but data was coming all the way across. And so I used TikTok and Instagram and things like that, but it didn't really hit my audience. For me, it's LinkedIn. So what I started doing is just studying everything I could about data. And the oldest, the thing that we all know is perception becomes reality. So I would just do 30-second spots on, there is a difference between a third-party tracking pixel and a cookie. And a lot of people don't know that. They act like they know that or whatever. And I would be like, there's a difference. Here's the difference. 30 seconds, bam. And I would just put it out. So I utilized the media, LinkedIn especially, to try to broaden the perception of who I was. And then over, I guess, about a 6-month period, people were like, oh, he knows television. He's been doing television for years, but he also knows all the digital components as well. So it's such a powerful medium. But getting back to your question, yes, I don't believe over posting is effective. That's just my opinion. Somebody that is over posting and putting 1,000 word document about their company on LinkedIn or whatever every day. People scroll, they don't read. They might find one or two in that scroll that they're like, whoa, now that's interesting. I'm going to read that. But they are not going, no one has time. Who has time in their workday to go through a LinkedIn scroll and read every single person that's putting 1,000 word article? It just doesn't work. So for me, what I decided to do is less is more, just create an impact and a perception of the things that I'm doing that will be applicable to them, and they'll go, "That guy knows this particular topic. I didn't think he did, but he does." So that's how I used it. But thank you for the compliment of being a social media influencer. Thank you.
Well, I never knew what you were talking about, but it was new information for me, and I still don't really know what you were talking about, although it had to do with TV.
Yeah.
So you said an interesting thing about less. When 3-4 years ago when it started on LinkedIn, I posted every day. That was the thing to do. You post every day.
Yeah, that was
And
the common
one
thought.
problem. Yeah, and one problem with LinkedIn that I just don't deal with is the algorithm.
Yeah.
One, nobody knows what it is, and they change it, and they don't tell you they changed it. And there's one particular thing I look for on our post, and we've cut back to 2 a day. And
Okay.
one of the things that hit me was, if you want to be visible, post every day, post twice a day. But I believe your posts need to be memorable. 2 posts a week that have things that your buyer wants to know. You've informed them. That makes you memorable instead of just visible.
I agree. I've been lucky enough to be asked to speak at universities about marketing, like at the University of Georgia and Georgia State University and West Georgia and different universities. And that's what I post. And I don't go through and write, here's every single thing I'm going to talk about, and here's every single thing that the students got out of it. And I just put like a guest lecturer at the University of Georgia, and I'm going to be speaking here. And the one thing that I notice is so great is less is more. I'll go into an ad. Sometimes they won't even respond. They won't check it. I don't care. They're scrolling, But I go into an ad agency, and it is amazing if you limit the number of posts you do. Just for me, this is what's worked for me. I go into an ad agency, and they've all seen it. They're like, "Hey, I saw that you were speaking at a university. Yeah, that's fantastic. That's really cool." And they may not even responded to it, and they certainly wouldn't have responded to it if I had a 2,000 word excerpt of what every student said and what we discussed. They don't care. They don't care. It's just getting yourself out there, making sure people know that you are credible, you know what you're talking about, you can back it up. If somebody does make a comment and go, "Hey, I don't think this is right," you have the research to go, well, that's one perspective, but this is the actual study that I pulled from, and it is correct. This is correct based on this particular information.
Jeff, you've been around for a long time. I've been around for a long time. We always hear it's who you know, who you know, who you know. That's the great deal. Who you know. But I have found it's more important than who I know. It's who knows me. And quick story that happened to me. I was at an event, and there were 4 seats at every table. And the person that invited me, we were sitting at the table. 2 other guys came up, and my friend's name was Mark. He said, "Hey, I'm Mark." Shook hands with him, and one of the guys pointed at me and said, "You're the LinkedIn guy. I watch your show every week." Nice. He had never commented. He'd never liked. He had never done anything, but he knew exactly who I was. So when we're doing content, if it is valuable content, there are people out there looking at it that you don't know are looking at it.
I could not agree more. I mean, you think about it. I've been in the media business for 20, 30 years, whatever. Yeah, probably 30. And it makes such a difference to continue. I mean, you think about it, the people that buy media from my company, which sells national television and streaming television, and we can do all sorts of attribution and all of these different things that we can do. They people remember that, and they see it, and how what I don't understand is how anyone that is in business or is a salesperson or is trying to attract new business would not put some sort of post of what you're doing or some sort of visibility about what's going on directly to the people that are considering buying your product. Like there's some people like, I'm never posting, I'm not doing it. Maybe those are the email people. I don't know, but
Yeah,
but how could you not present out to the people that are literally buying your product and service? I just can't even imagine. But everybody does it different. I'm not saying my way is the best. I'm just saying how I do it.
Well, just quickly, and I think with posting, I don't care if you had a great sales meeting. I don't care if you had a great trade show. Tell me something that helps me. Tell me a success you had and why it was a success. Tell me about a failure you had and what you learned.
Yes.
Like I said, I don't care that you had a great trade show.
Yeah, right.
Jeff, I got three questions for you. Three quick questions to wrap up.
Okay.
What would you say to the audience if you could only say one thing as a takeaway from this show?
AI is here. Embrace it. Do not run from it. It is here. Yes, there might be dangers and things down the future we really don't know. But you've got to use AI to streamline what you're trying to accomplish because it cuts a million hours out. You're much more effective, and you're going to succeed in your business. So embrace it. Embrace it.
Question number 2. What would Jeff today tell Jeff 10 years ago?
Oh boy. Keep learning. Keep learning. You cannot be in, I mean, with AI and some of the dangers of AI that are going to be eliminating positions and whatever. The concept of, I mean, my parents used to say, it was funny, get on with Georgia Power and work at Georgia Power like your whole life. And you just kind of rise up and you just kind of like go the whole way 30 years and you get a retirement. If you tried to do that today and go, no, this is just a job I do, I'm not doing anything else. You have to be learning all the time. You got to read, you got to go to YouTube, you got to go to the industry trades, you got to go everywhere. You have to be one step farther than the person that you're selling to so that you can be credible and valuable to them to help them.
All right, last question.
Yeah.
Do you have a life rule that you never break? And I've had answers to this question from always do the next right thing to don't eat sushi from a gas station, which both are good. But what's your life rule that you just don't break?
It's gotten kind of common, but I heard about it years and years ago, and I love it. When people show you who they are, believe them. Do not talk your way out of it. Do not go, well, maybe they were having a bad day. Maybe they weren't good, and maybe they were just completely ugly in the presentation. Maybe they were dismissive or whatever. I got a million people to call. If I go out and somebody is just completely not even interested, they don't even care, they're being disrespectful, everything, believe them. That is who they are. Go to the next. Don't waste your time with these people that they're just not worth it. They're not going to give you the respect. You go find what you're looking for, and you're going to find it. Just stay focused, and you'll find it.
All right, Jeff, I really appreciate you being on the show today. If people want to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Oh, just my email address would be great. It's jeff.watts@ampersand.com. TV, not .com, but .tv. That's one mistake people make. But if anyone wants to talk or say that they disagree with something I said, please just reach out to Jeff.Watts at ampersand TV. I would love to hear from them.
All right. Thanks, Jeff. I really appreciate you being on today. I appreciated you being on a year ago.
Thanks.
And I am sure with a year's experience, I did a better job today than I did a year ago. If you want to get in touch with me, the best way to do it is a direct message on LinkedIn. You can also email me. And I'll promise you this, if I can help you, I will. And I'm sure Jeff feels the same way about this. I will help you if I can. If I can't, I probably know somebody who can, and I'll be happy to make an introduction for you to them.
Yeah.
As we wrap up today, I want you to remember this. Jeff and I aren't telling you got to change everything you're doing and do this. If you've had some years in sales, you've been successful, use those things that made you successful, but be open to using the new tools that are available and take that old school wisdom, put it with the new school tools, and I promise you it will work. So Jeff, thanks for being on the show. We're here. Oh, by the way, we're sponsored today by the Advart Group. Glad to have them on as a sponsor. We're here every Friday. We're also on YouTube, and I believe we're on Instagram. So take a look, get in touch with us, and we'll be happy to help. Thanks, Jeff.